And welcome into Logan, Utah tonight. We've got Mountain West Conference basketball. That's right, it's a league game early on, and we are excited to bring you this one. Dave Fox along with former Aggie great Gary Wilkinson. And Gary, wow, what an exciting time really for both teams. New coach for Wyoming. Aggies off to a 7-0 start.
And it seems year after year there's so many changes up here with coaching staffs and players that you're just not quite sure what you're going to get. But year after year, the Aggies come out and find a way to put a team together and have great starts like this one.
So for Wyoming basketball, 5-2 under the first season for Sundance Wicks at head coach. He was a Wyoming assistant from 2000 to 23, and then spent a year at Green Bay. And of course for the Aggies, Jarrett Calhoun also in his first season. So two first-year coaches going toe-to-toe, and both of them off to a really good start. Aggies 7-0 for the 9th time in program history. And Mason Falslift, see if he can stay hot, misses his first three. But oh my goodness, what a couple weeks he's had. Career high 28 against North Texas, and he was the NIT tip-off MVP. He averaged 21 points and 8 rebounds over those 2 games. Really playing well after kind of a little bit of a slow start this season. And early on, first bucket of the game goes to Wyoming, and it is Obi Agwim. We talked about him. He's a good one.
Yeah, Mason, I could tell from the first 3 games, he was chomping at the bit. Coach Calhoun's trying to find his rotations, and the team is still trying to gel, but he's starting to find his way here and playing confidently.
Ian Martinez 3. That means he needs 9 more points to hit 1,000 for his career. We're going to keep an eye on that one. So the Aggies on the board in a 3-2 game early on. Welcome into our broadcast. Good to have a Mountain West Conference game already on December 4th.
Yeah. Well, and Ian Martinez to reach almost 1,000 points this early in the season means he's putting points on the board.
And that's the shot harassed by Isaac Johnson, ends up an air ball.
And the Aggies have such a dynamic presence with this zone because of the length with Gattaretzi and Johnson. I mean, they can get to shooters and force people into the middle in ways that you traditionally can't without guys that size.
Yeah, they have really perfected that zone. Completely different look from a year ago, right?
Oh, absolutely. The way that Sprinkle would run things straight, hard-nosed, man-to-man compared to Calhoun.
Totally different. Yeah.
Right.
We noticed that from that this is the 5th game we've done, and right from the beginning, that Alcorn State went over 50-point margin. That just a whole different look, but very successful. And another missed shot. Here comes Martinez.
I think one of the big questions in Mountain West play with the length and size of the teams in the league is whether they can rebound out of the zone. And that's still an unknown for me.
Allen lob up to Gattaretzi and got a foul. And it's interesting you would mention rebounds because Wyoming is a very good rebounding team, especially offensive rebounds. So we'll see how that plays in because the Aggies are going, as you pointed out, going to be in that zone when rebounds are available. They lead the Mountain West, in fact, Wyoming does, in offensive rebound.
Yeah, and you can tell they got a tough, hard-nosed team. And when you're undersized like they are, you have to find ways to win. And getting on the offensive board, being scrappy is the way to do that.
Corner 3 on the way, and Martinez's shot won't go. We remain 3-2, a couple minutes into this game. Utah State played 4 in a row here at home. They went out, got a big win against Iowa. That was huge. Previously undefeated at the time, as Obi's shot won't go. And then they went to that NIT tip-off tournament and beat St. Bonaventure in North Texas. So here they are back with 4 in a row at home again, and they're sitting at 7-0.
Yeah, and they had that stretch of undefeated teams, and I think that Iowa game was a statement game for them. They proved it to themselves that they were the quality team that they've been playing as. And I think that type of confidence just lends itself to great things as the season moves forward.
Such a big win. It was actually in Kansas City, but basically in their Iowa's backyard. Really a gut check win for those guys.
Yeah, and they have the talent and they have the depth on their bench to make a real statement this season with what they've shown so far.
Allen, his shot blocked. And Cole Henry's having none of that. A 6'9" graduate senior, he's out of Iowa.
Maybe he took that win a little personally.
Yeah, he might have. Layup. Tynamo in the post. Wyoming, actually, one of their victories on the way to 5-2 was against Utah Tech. A team, of course, from St. George here in Utah, and the Aggies will face Utah Tech this coming Saturday night. We'll have that game for you as well here locally on KMYU and on the Mountain West Network.
The one thing to watch with Wyoming defensively, with Ian Martinez and Mason Falslove, watch how closely they're playing them as shooters. He's already frustrated Mason on that last play. Ian, I think that's one of the ways that Wyoming's developed to try to stop them, is just to take them out of their game through a mental game as well.
As Martinez kick out. A couple of subs that have come in. Dayton Albury, he kicks back out to Martinez right there, and then Garetzi offensive board, but can't finish. And along with Albury is Dexter Akano, the Oregon State transfer, spent 3 years playing for Coach Tinkle up at Oregon State, and now part of the Aggie group. And Dayton Albury out of Queens University, also a transfer. A lot of new faces on this team. As a three-pointer is hit by Jordan Nesbitt. Not a great three-point shooter this year, Gary. Only 19%, but he nailed that one.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Division I basketball player for a reason. You know, sometimes stats don't hold up. You're obviously capable to play at this level.
Fall slip, and Mason's shot rolls in.
And that's when you have played like Mason's played lately, he's starting to look for his shots early, and that's what you need out of a player who has as much playing time and his experience as Mason has had.
I remember those first 3 games we did, he didn't hit double figures, and now he's averaging 17 a game, so he really made up for that. Nice backdoor pass as Cole Henry was trying to thread the needle to Tynamo, but unable to do that.
Well, and that's when you see with Dexter Akano is his ability to anticipate passes on that zone, and that's what you need there, to trust your teammates and be able to know that they are going to be where you need them to be when those passes are made.
Back here in Logan, and Utah State coming in on a roll at 7-0, hosting Wyoming. But Gary, they are not shooting the ball well tonight.
Yeah, they've started off slow at a lot of home games where teams have hung around early. They've been slow starting shooting, and then they kind of find their groove and make their way out of it. The question is, in conference play, can they keep up that type of play?
Yeah, good point. Really, you don't want to fall behind. 2 of 9 on their field goals, only 1 for 5 on their threes, while Wyoming has hit half of their 6 field goals, hitting 50%. But early on, and a 7-5 Wyoming lead. This series, Wyoming actually leads it overall. You know that this will be the 100th game of this series, going way back to 1912, I believe.
That's amazing.
And they lead the series 52-37. But the Aggies, they've won 10 of the last 12 and swept Wyoming last year.
Yeah. I remember we played Wyoming here in the Gosner Classic, and they took us to
the old Gosner Classic. Yeah,
double overtime they took us to. They were talented. Hit a 3/4 court shot to go into overtime. It's a fun game.
Yeah, they've had some really good teams over the years, especially had a few back when you were playing.
Yeah.
And Falslip gets to the rack again. Back-to-back layups for Mason Falslip. Three-pointer on the way, and Allen's shot won't go. And Carson Templin, who just checked in, keep an eye on him. He is a workhorse. Comes up with the rebound. And going right back the other way, Nesbitt gives off, and a layup for Ibube. Martinez, and Ian's shot still struggling.
Yeah, he just needs to keep shooting. He's one of those guys that Aggies need to depend on through the stretch to come up with those big shots. So,
he will. Yeah, he's not knocking on 1,000 career points because he doesn't shoot.
Absolutely.
Off balance shot, Obi Ogbim, and it goes.
And this, I would say that the spectrum is a shooter's gym. If you can find your rhythm in here, generally people can put a lot of points on the board. So may not be good news that Obi's finding his rhythm this early for the Aggies.
He's been great for Wyoming this year as Dayton Albury gets right to the rack. His season high this year is 9. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Well, and that's one thing with the Aggies is they can show so many different looks. Even defensively, when you have Albury on the floor with Akano, that's a much different look than what the Aggies started with. And so it's just hard for teams to adjust to that.
Well, Akano right there nearly got the turnover. And, in fact, he did. And Obi's like, wait a second, I got the ball right here, but it is definitely a turnover there. So substitutions continue as Drake Allen checks back into the game. And our first look at Tucker Anderson, a transfer from Central Arkansas. 6'9", 190-pound sophomore.
And that's the thing is just Aggies can bring in so many weapons every which way. From off the bench to shooters, even Templin comes in, you can throw it to him on the block and he can get you a few points.
It's been an interesting time to watch the Aggies now as both Foslev and Martinez are on the bench. And we got a foul on the drive.
Yeah, and this Wyoming team is playing so physical that, and I think the refs are doing a good job of kind of letting them bump and play a little bit. And, some of those are going to just kind of come away as fouls.
Our referees tonight, Michael Irving, Mike Littlewood, Kelly Pfeiffer, they've done a number of games here in Logan this season. We've seen them a few times. Shot missed again. The Aggies still cold, and yet it's only a 2-point game. Mason Falso's had a couple of layups that certainly helped. Obi kick out, corner 3 on the way, and Kobe Newton's shot does not go. And Anderson's got it. And Anderson twists in the lane and scores.
See, and it's fun to watch different dynamics of the players because you look at Grayson as a shooter, straight shooter, but he does have the ability to put the ball on the floor and finish just like he did there.
Tucker Anderson. Transfer from Central Arkansas as Wyoming comes right back, and Newton pops a 3. Kobe Newton, second leading scorer on this team and a good 3-point shooter, by the way, transfer from Fullerton. I remember back in the day when transfers were so rare on rosters. Now you look down and every starter and most of the bench for Wyoming is a transfer.
Yeah, and I think there's some good and bad to that. Sometimes you just need to grind through some hard stuff.
Yeah.
And instead of looking for a way out. And
well, and just interesting one for Utah, of course, is Dexter Akano. 3 years at Oregon State. Now he's playing here at Utah State.
Right.
On the season, Utah State a better field goal shooter than Wyoming. They are a better 3-point shooting team than Wyoming. But right now, Gary, it's not bearing out that way at all. Just 35% on their field goals, and they still only have the 1-3.
Yeah, and I think statistics always kind of bear themselves out over the course of the game. You obviously have some anomalies, but the Aggies come off to slow start every once in a while, and that's, could account to Wyoming's defense, or that's their pattern.
On the other side of that, Wyoming hitting over 50% of their field goals. Jordy Barnes has checked into the game as Carson Templin tries to get the layup, but that's blocked out of bounds by Cole Henry. Barnes, the freshman, true freshman, playing for a state championship here in Utah just last spring, which he won at Olympus High School. His dad also a former Aggie. Matt Barnes, and Akano for 3 in rhythm.
One thing that Jordy's going to do during the course of this season is go back and watch his high school team and feel how much slower the game is.
Yeah, you do that, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's an unbelievable difference. Yeah.
You don't realize it when you're there.
No.
But you are right. Obi drive, kick out, three-pointer on the way. Nesbitt delivers. Boy, Wyoming seems to answer every single time the Aggies get something going.
Yeah, and that's what the question was going to be, is are they going to be shot out of the zone in conference play because of the ability of the teams they play against to put points on the board from beyond the arc?
Well, we'll keep an eye on that as Wyoming leads by 3, approaching midway here in the first half, an early season league game. And Templin makes himself available and rolls to the basket.
And that's one thing you see from the Aggie offense. They were patient, they didn't force things, and then it always comes down to simple basketball plays, a pick and a roll. Your guy's open and you execute on that.
Obi Ogden, number 5, leader of this team. But the three-pointer as Dynamo connects again. Not a great, again, there's got a couple of three-point shooters that aren't great on the season, but they've stepped up tonight, Nesbitt and Dynamo.
Yeah, and then when you have open shots,
got to take them, right?
Got to take them.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you're going to see Gattaretzi and Johnson get back in here, because their length is going to be able to get them to the shooters.
Nakano looking for another three, just rims out, and the Cowboys have the ball. Every time Kobe Newton touches the ball, the Aggie students let him have it from an earlier missed shot, as that three does not go for Dynamo. And here come the Aggies, and Allen gets to the basket and up and in.
That's a good, strong move. You know, he doesn't show that much. He's more of a facilitator for the Aggies, but he definitely has the ability and the strength to get into those tight spots and finish. So it's nice to see him do that.
So we talked about the substitution pattern. Sometimes it's nearly the entire team, and here they come. A bunch of the starters coming back into the game as Mason Falslip, Isaac Johnson, Ian Martinez will all check back in, along with Gattaretzi, and Jordy Barnes will stay on the floor.
Yeah, Barnes brings so much toughness defensively. Like his ability to anticipate on defense is pretty remarkable for a player as young as he is.
Well, and I guess being raised by a former player and current coach has a little something to do with that as well.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
Cole Henry in trouble in the post, and an offensive rebound by Dynamo. We were talking about how great they were but he can't hang on to it. Aggie defense steps to the plate. Martinez kicks out. Johnson, three, and that won't go. But how about Martinez hustling to get that rebound?
Yeah, and that's the type of plays that you're going to have to come up with. You're going to have to crash the boards and come up with plays like that to stay in the game like this.
Gattaretzi working. I mean, just going toe-to-toe with Cole Henry. They charge Henry with the foul. That's a good battle down in the post.
Absolutely, and I mean, that's not something that we've traditionally seen from Gattaretzi. He's kind of more of a space, catch, receive, dunk guy. But if he can put pressure on Wyoming like that, that's an added bonus for sure.
Gattaretzi transfer from Stetson University, young man out of Belgium. And Falslev looks at a three, and that's short. And Gattaretzi nearly, I think that foul is going to go against Nesbitt. And you're going to see Gattaretzi doing the work to get that rebound and ends up drawing the foul.
Absolutely. And so just down the floor, he's caused 2 fouls, come up with an offensive rebound and give the Aggies a couple more opportunities to put points on the board.
Yeah, Nesbitt doesn't like that, and he's going to go to the bench. Not that anyone ever likes a foul call, but he's right. Dante Allen checks in.
Well, when you're shooting like he's shooting, you don't want to go to the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that ball nearly thrown away. Martinez right to the rack. Gattaretzi had his hands on another offensive rebound but can't hang on.
Yeah, and he's proven to be a problem for Wyoming just because of his size. They just don't have someone with his size and length to kind of get him out of there.
Good collection of students. Fan section here. in Logan, and a three-pointer on the way. Kind of had to rush that shot a little bit, and Kobe Newton couldn't get it to fall.
Well, on that one, you see as the Cowboys penetrate, Gateretzi's in the middle, taking up the space, and then they don't have an easy shot, have to kick it out for a shot they weren't prepared for, miss it. That's great Aggie defense.
Still just a 2-point game here on KMYU locally and the Mountain West Network. Back here in Logan, Dave Fox, Gary Wilkinson, former Aggie great. You were commenting on a shooter's gym, this being one of those. What is it about? Now, I know you didn't put up a lot of threes in your day, but what is about this place that makes it a shooter friendly?
Well, I feel like it's got, like, the spacing in the gym is nice with the way that things are spaced. Sometimes when the gyms are, other gyms, the crowd sits away from you, it throws you off.
Right.
And the rims are soft. So you got good spacing in the gym, and the rims are soft. That's what I enjoyed. But like you already pointed out, I wasn't much of a shooter, so what do I know?
Yeah, but you did a whole lot of other really good things. Yeah. The rims are probably soft because of how many times you threw it down.
That's right. That's what we'll say.
That's what we'll go with. Oh, nearly losing the ball there. Gateretzi on the exchange with Jordy Barnes, and Falslev's three doesn't go, and another miss for the Aggies. And here come the Cowboys.
The one thing the Aggies are doing is they're crashing the boards and putting pressure on the boards. I mean, they're up. They have 5 offensive rebounds to Wyoming's 0. So they're really putting pressure on the board, and that's something that's probably keeping them in the game this early.
There is definitely defensive pressure and a little too much of it right there, and a foul. Looks like it's going to go to Jordy Barnes. Drake Allen getting set to check back in, and he will for Barnes.
Yeah, when you play aggressive defense like that, you're going to come away with a foul or two, but you don't want your players to turn it down.
Well, maybe he saw that he was about to be subbed, and he thought, I'm going to get my money's worth on this last play.
Right. I'm going to make my time well spent here.
That's only one. Nearly losing the ball, finally kicking it back out. That's A.J. Willis in the game now for Wyoming.
See, now the Aggies have moved to man-to-man. So they've moved out of that zone, and this is the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we've seen this at all this year, and they forced them into having to take a shot as the shot clock went off and missed it. So, interesting new look. You're right. This is our 5th game and have not seen this yet. Of course, they've blown out every opponent.
Well, and that was always going to be the question. If the teams are shooting them like they're shooting it, are they going to be able to stay in the zone? And so I wonder if that's one reason for the adjustment.
Falslev driving to the basket. He draws the foul. So should be shots coming from Mason. Let's see. Yeah. 2 shots for Mason Falslev, averaging 17 points a game. And a 73% free throw shooter. Always curious to see how quiet it gets. This is the first free throw of the night for the Aggies, so let's see. Not bad. I've heard it quiet.
Yeah, I've heard it quiet as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot more fans, though. It may be a little bit harder.
A lot more fans. It is a packed house tonight, especially the student sections. Absolutely packed.
Yeah, and it's fun when the Aggies get going on a run to hear this place start to get momentum. It becomes a very, very different environment really quickly.
Oh, you remember we did a game last year. It was over Christmas. I don't think they have one of those scheduled this year. And there were no students. Mm-hmm. They were all on Christmas break. And it was like being in a completely different arena.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they really rely on this.
Oh, yeah. It's a difference maker for sure.
I think they saw that and thought, let's don't do another one of those.
Yeah, it was. And I think the students know how important they are to Aggie basketball. They show up year after year. They're fantastic.
Yeah, their last home game before the end of the year is December 17th against San Diego. So I would think they would still, that would just be the very end of the term before they break.
Right.
For Christmas break. So that should keep the crowd here. And a turnover there. So tie ball game, and the Aggies have the ball.
And that's when Drake Allen's defense has his hands back. I mean, that's textbook defense. You're just moving your feet, and the player just can't handle the physical defense and is out of bounds.
Oh, turnover going right back the other way. You saw Jordan Nesbitt swat that ball away from Martinez. So turnabout fair play, and the Cowboys get the ball back. Three-pointer, corner, and that goes for Dante Allen. He's only 2 of 24 on threes coming into this game, and he just popped one there.
And that's the thing is everyone's dangerous at this level, and you give people open shots and they start to get in a rhythm. They become what they weren't before.
Well, you called it at the beginning of the game as that shot is blocked, that it's a shooter's gym, and all these guys that have been struggling with their shots are hitting.
Right? That's what always was our concern was you let someone get going in this gym and they can put points on the board.
Ball will stay here. Drake Allen to inbound the UVU and Southern Utah transfer, so he played at 2 schools here in Utah before moving up to Logan and joining the Aggies. And nice inbound play. Boy, when the inbound play works, you love it, don't you?
Yeah.
Nakano with the layup.
Well, Calhoun, I've mentioned before how often he scores off of inbounds plays. It's amazing. It's rare to score that much.
Yeah, it seems like just about all.
Every game he's scoring at least 1 or 2 buckets off of inbound plays.
1-point game, under 5 to play. We got a good one here. Mountain West Conference opener for both these teams. They'll both go back into non-league play before resuming conference play at the end of the year.
So now they're back in this zone.
Nesbitt's 3 way off.
But it didn't hit the rim, so.
Yeah, the shot clock just expired. So we talked about what a great offensive rebounding team Wyoming is, but that Aggie defense has kept them from getting another shot off.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's such an interesting makeup with the length that the Aggies have in there, that I think that they can still maintain the boards while playing a zone, and it makes it really difficult for teams. It gets them out of their rhythm.
The other thing is incredibly low-scoring game, considering what the Aggies had been doing for most of the season. As that shot doesn't go for Falsleben, he's looking for a foul, doesn't get it. The first 4 games we did, the first 3 games, Aggies went over 100, 95 on the 4th. They were knocking on 50 points by halftime. As that shot goes up, Jordan Nesbitt looking good.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of confidence. You can see he's got that look in his eye where he's going to either get his shot or get to the rack and create something for his team.
Oh, how about Aubrey's shot? Will not go. Look good. Neither team has been able to get away from the other for more than about 4 points, but depending on what happens here, Wyoming might be able to come up with their biggest lead of the game. But hold on, what is the call? It's just going to be out of bounds to Wyoming, but that was pretty rough down there. Now the officials are talking about it.
Yeah, I think that Allen was trying to make a clear play for the ball and
kind of got knocked out of bounds.
Yeah.
Interesting. Surprised there was no call there. 25-22 our score here on KMYU, locally and on the Mountain West Network. Mountain West Conference opener here in Logan, and we've got a good one. 7-0 undefeated Aggies of Utah State taking on the 5-2 Wyoming Cowboys. Just kind of a one-off. They play these early league games, and then the Aggies will not play another league game until they take on San Diego State on December 28th. And the same situation for Wyoming as they get this league game against the Aggies, and then they won't have another one again until New Year's Eve against Boise State.
Yeah, they just had to schedule it weird, like you mentioned in the beginning.
Get it in where you can. Obi pulls up and hits so smooth.
Yeah, the Cowboys are playing with a lot of confidence right now. And both Nesbitt and Obi are getting those shots up and creating some momentum for Wyoming.
5-point lead, biggest lead of the night for either team, is Wyoming up 27-22. 3 minutes to play here in the first half from the Spectrum in Logan. Akano, and his drive comes up a little short. Good interior defense by the Cowboys. Two quality teams with first-year coaching staffs. Jared Calhoun for the Aggies, Sundance Wicks for Wyoming. A little dish in the post, and that defense is strong. You saw Templin in there. And here comes fall slip, twist. And they're going to call goaltending here, so Mason gets the layup.
Yeah, and that's been true of the Aggies all year. Their defense leads to their offense. So in transition, the Aggies are so dangerous because plays like that where Mason can spin and create for himself. Whereas when they get stagnant on defense, they don't come up with as many stops. It's harder for them to execute and get in a good rhythm.
Well, it certainly paid off there, back to a 3-point lead for Wyoming. And get a good look at that full court defense they've shown a couple times tonight. I'm impressed how quickly they've been able to adjust the defense to what they've seen tonight. Yeah. You've been preaching this all year as Obi drives into the lane, gets right by everyone, and has a layup.
Well, and that's the thing is that when you don't play a defense a lot during the course of the year, you're at a disadvantage as well because you're not as used to where your teammates are supposed to be. You haven't run it a lot. So it becomes more difficult as the year goes on to start to implement those other parts of your defense.
May as well start it now.
Yeah.
Even though it is the league opener. Akano got hit. It goes. A chance for a 4-point play.
And those are the things that just fire you up as a coach. Because you're building a lead in a very difficult place to play. And then it's plays like that just shift the momentum, get the crowd back in it, and give a different perspective to the home team.
Yeah, to your point, Gary, Sundance Wicks is not happy with that at all.
Yeah, you're up 6.
Yeah, he didn't like that foul. He wasn't arguing the foul,
right.
The call. He didn't like the fact that his player committed the foul.
Right.
You hear the fans yelling, angry coach, because they saw he was not one bit happy. And Akano able to convert the 4-point play. That's a big one.
Yeah.
For Dexter Akano, a nearly 80% free throw shooter on the season, so he's a good one to have there. The trap here, does it go off of Dynamo? Refs are still talking, okay, they are going to give it back to Wyoming.
I think Akano was too honest there. I don't know if too honest is the word, but I think he kind of just told the ref, yeah, it went off me. But we'll see. No,
yeah.
Did it?
Was that his knee? I think it went off his knee.
Yeah, I couldn't see from the replay.
Okay, well, at either rate, they're going to take a timeout. This will be just a 30-second timeout, but 29-28. And, Gary, you've lived through these games. You just talked about one that you played in where it was into overtime. Would you expect anything less out of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's a chance for both teams to prove to the league what they've come with. And you know, Wyoming just come and said, you know, we're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they haven't backed down from the Aggies one bit. And that's the Wyoming team I've always known and I've always watched. They've always come in and been hard-nosed like that. And the Aggies have to learn how to respond because that's going to be every game in this league. Teams are going to be gunning for them with the record like they have.
Oh, yeah, you just go down the list from when they open league play. San Diego State, always competitive. Nevada, and those 2 games are on the road.
Right.
And I'm talking about after tonight's the league opener, but when they get back into the regular full-on league season, there's just a lot of really good teams. UNLV's always tough. Remember that game last year down in Las Vegas at the Aggies? Somehow everything had to go right in the last 20 seconds, and it did.
Yeah.
So just it's a grind this year.
Yep.
In the Mountain West. And this time the foul is, they put a lot of pressure on Obi. And that foul's going to go to Akano.
Well, and the Aggies have done a pretty good job of keeping themselves out of foul trouble. I mean, the foul count right now is 7-3. So they have a foul or 2 to give up. I don't think they should be less aggressive with this much time left in the half.
Didn't see a ton there, but that's the call. And again, they show that full court press. Cowboys get out of it.
See, and that's exactly what you want out of your press. You've eaten up 11 seconds of the clock, or 5 or 6 seconds of the clock, and now they're running their offense out of sorts and creates harder shots.
Oh, Martinez defending Obi Ogbim, and he gets a quick foul there.
Yeah, well, the refs are starting to call it tighter a little bit down the stretch here, but I'd say the Aggies just keep playing defense like they've been playing and let it fall where it falls.
Our next broadcast here will be Saturdays. The Aggies will go back to non-league play against Utah Tech out of St. George. And for Wyoming, they will take on South Dakota next week. They also have a game at BYU coming up next week. Nesbitt, 3. And Martinez has the board. Here come the Aggies. Quick 3. Martinez got it.
See, and that's where that 4-point play hurts, because you can go into halftime up 1 or 2 after that 3. Now the Aggies have taken the lead. Momentum is shifting. Half is ending. And that's what you don't want to see as a coach on the road.
First lead for the Aggies since the early going in this game. And Martinez with that 3 and ball out of bounds. And how about the defense by the Aggies, and more specifically Dayton Albury.
Yeah, and that's where Martinez comes down. He has that no conscience type of thought process where he can just come down, nails in a game, and puts that dagger in, creates momentum for the Aggies.
And that momentum kind of spurred on the defense. You talk about, defense leading to offense. In that case, the offense might have led to the defense.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with you there. Because you can hear the crowd, people get energized, and then Wyoming starts to get on their back foot and makes turnovers.
There's the herd. One of the best student sections anywhere. They wear those gloves, if you're wondering, because they believe that when you are applauding, when you are clapping, it makes a louder noise.
Yeah.
When you have those gloves on.
I don't know if that's scientifically proven.
Maybe they have a pretty good science department.
Right. I think they could figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some science majors in the herd.
Absolutely. Or they literally come out with a couple boxes of them, just pass them out at the beginning of the game. They don't miss any opportunity to be heard in the herd. 22 seconds to go, so the Aggies can work for the last shot, already leading by 2. Dayton Albury will handle the ball. Akano Falslev, Carson Templin, and Ian Martinez on the floor. And Martinez is going to drive, and Templin offensive board, and Templin draws the foul. So you're going to have free throws coming with half a second left.
And that's the thing, is the Aggies just kept putting pressure on the basket. Martinez attacks. Could have been a foul, wasn't called. Templin comes up with the rebound. They put too much pressure on the ref's top to make a call at that point.
I kind of agree with you on that first one. Could have been a foul to Martinez, who's a 92% free throw shooter. And Templin I didn't want to say anything until he shot one, but he struggled from the free throw line. Right. He's below 50%.
Right.
We'll see if we can get one. Send the Aggies to the locker room with a 3-point lead if he delivers here. Carson Templin out of Fairview, Texas, the sophomore. His shoe game's always on point, right,
yeah,
Gary?
Absolutely.
He had the gold shoes a couple games ago. Now he's in the pink. And that'll do it. And the Aggies will go to the locker room. 32-29 lead. And Gary, kind of that last minute and a half, they really kind of turned things around.
Absolutely, and that's what I was saying as a coach, you hate those 4-point plays because the momentum shifts, the mindset shifts. Now Wyoming, who was playing aggressively, was being dominant on the offensive end, comes down, makes the turnover plays on the back foot, and the Aggies are now up by 3.
So the Aggies with a nice little run to head to the locker room. It is the Mountain West Conference opener for both teams. Yes, I know that seems weird on December 4th, but that's the way it is. We'll see how things shape up. We're going to break away for halftime activities here on KMYU TV. And we are back here in Logan. Good to have you with us tonight on our broadcast. KMYU Television locally, Mountain West Network. Dave Fox, Gary Wilkinson, former Aggie great, former, let's see, it was WAC. I don't want to overdate you. Player of the year.
That's right.
But times have changed now, and soon they're going to be Pac-12.
Yeah.
So it's another world that we live in. But, yeah, Mountain West Conference, they play this opening game tonight and then back to non-league play. We'll be back here Saturday as Utah Tech comes up to visit the Aggies. And Wyoming will head to they actually are going to South Dakota. I thought that was an interesting schedule.
Yeah.
But they'll play there on December 10th. They also have a game next week at BYU. And league play opens up for after this game for the Aggies but not until December 28th against San Diego State. So it's kind of fun to see this, and it's just ferocious.
Yeah.
You know, the from the fans to the players, everything we've seen so far.
Yes, and that's what you expect from this conference game. Wyoming comes in, it's a hard-nosed play, so that's the way that it's going to, I think, go the rest of the night. It's going to be tough and grind it out type of game, low-scoring game. We see more of that, I think, in the second half.
Yeah, a little different from those first three games when the Aggies scored 101, 103, and 117.
Right.
And then Montana cooled them off. They only scored 95 in that one. But yeah, it's hard-fought, hard-nosed game. Aggies coming off actually a 61-57 win against North Texas in that NIT tip-off, in which they won that. And Mason Falslev was the MVP of the NIT tip-off, scoring 21 points and 8 rebounds per game over 2 games. So back to live action here, and the Cowboys have the ball to start things off. Aggies sticking with that man. So Coach Calhoun committed to that, and it results in a turnover. And Isaac Johnson gets bumped out of bounds. So you like what you're seeing out of this defensive change?
Absolutely. Well, they are definitely their defense shows man and zone, so it's confusing for the defense to try to understand what they're running, and then to turn them over, create a foul off the owning play of the half for the Aggies. Great start.
That's got to be tough just to execute that and to learn that, as Martinez tried to dunk it.
Yeah.
He might have been better served just try to lay that one up, but that would have lit this place up.
And the thing is, every time he goes up, I think he's capable of actually finishing it. So
great athlete. Really impressive what the Aggies are showing with this defense, and Martinez comes away with a steal, and right back the other way. Obi Ogbim almost had the steal, and he in fact does, and it's going to be a foul to the Aggies.
Well, and Allen's given Nesbitt a lot of trouble defensively. Nesbitt's trying to use his strength with Allen. Allen's just he can give it right back to him, so he's creating problems for him to get to a spot to get his shot up.
Official will ask Kobe Newton to tuck in his jersey. And here we go. No scoring yet here in the second half. Huge crowd of Aggie fans on hand, as there always is up here in Logan. Student section is sensational on the Stu Morrill court. And twisting move in the post, but Cole Henry has nowhere to go. Kick out 3, and that's good for Dante Allen.
Well, and if they hit open shots, that's the way it goes. The Aggies played great defense, had them stopped, and found an open shooter at the end.
Tie ball game. Gadarezzi posting up, had a good early first half and working. He gets bumped a little bit, throws a shot up that will not go.
And that's the thing, he needs to go straight up over the defense rather than fading away. He's got such length, he doesn't necessarily need to be so aggressive and so physical. He can just use his length to maneuver around the defense.
Obi, little teardrop in the lane, and Wyoming is on a 5-0 run to start the second half. Aggies have not yet scored in the second half. And Falslev is fouled by Kobe Newton. And subs coming in for the Aggies. Dayton Albury will check in along with Carson Templin.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is they're trying to play Mason and Martinez physical. They're going to use a number of defenders to come in and make it hard for them to come off those screens and get open looks.
Shut up, Sundance!
The Aggie fans. Sundance Wicks, first-year head coach for Wyoming. Jared Calhoun, first-year coach for Utah State. Came here out of Youngstown State, had back-to-back 20-win seasons at Youngstown State. Falslev and Mason Puts up the little hook, goes back, gets the rebound. So an offensive rebound for Mason, throws it off Wyoming. Nope, it will go back to Wyoming.
And this kind of goes back to what we talked about in the first half. Aggies are having a hard time getting stops on defense. Their offense becomes stagnant. When they start to get transition buckets, it starts to open the floor for them offensively, and they can get the type of shots they want. But with Wyoming going on this 5-0 run, it shows that it's harder to get stops to get in that offensive rhythm.
Yeah, the Cowboys really coming out strong here to start this second half. And the drive, and it is now just rolls off, and Templin's there. So it remains a 5-0 run for Wyoming, and we got a foul. Oh, man. Talk about getting physical. Templin gets right up and goes back to Cole Henry, says, it's all right, I can handle that.
Yeah, and that's the type of stuff when Henry just runs right into Templin as he's running down the floor. I think the refs are going to want to take a look at this and see whether that was an open court foul or something a little less egregious.
It looks like they went over there to have a look, but I don't see them.
The previous play
it
is under review. After review,
here we go.
The previous play has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 personal foul.
Wow. Okay, so you called it, Gary.
Yeah.
They did indeed take a look, and a flagrant 1. So free throws coming for Templin and the ball.
Yeah, I mean, as far as flagrant fouls go, though, that wasn't one I'd be too concerned about.
And Templin with the pink shoes hits the first. And how about that? That's a 100% trip for him on that
right.
one. He's 3 for 4. Here's take one more look right here. There's Templin. Oh, and he did kind of just shove him to the ground.
That happens.
I don't know if, like, I'm with you. I'm not sure I'd call it a flagrant 1, but at any rate, 2 points for the Aggies and the ball. Martinez. And Martinez is fouled. So the Aggies still don't have a field goal in this half, but Martinez will be going to the free throw line. And he's struggled tonight shooting, Gary. Just 2 of 9 on his field goals and 6 points.
Yeah, and that's why you want to keep him off the free throw line, because if he can start to see the ball go through the basket, he's a guy that can start putting up points in a hurry.
Exactly. His first free throws of the game. And he got it. So after Wyoming starts the half on a 5-0 run, if he hits this, the Aggies will answer with a 4-0 run, all at the free throw line. And he does very good 92% free throw shooter. So
yeah, that's remarkable. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, that is. He's got 8 points now, so he needs 4 more for his 1,000th career point, which he will have done at University of Utah, University of Maryland, and of course here at Utah State. Working in the post. Not much Templin can do. It is up and in.
And this is a good test for both teams to just see where you can match point to point, play physical, and still grind it out to get a win.
It's pouring over Martinez point totals for the various years that has brought him to this where he's about ready to hit 1,000. His biggest season last year, he had 452 points.
Wow.
For Danny Sprinkle's team. But he's already over 130, and there's a ton of season still to go. So who knows? He may eclipse that.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, he's a go-to guy this season, whereas last season it took him a while to get going. He put up points, but it took him a while.
Yeah, they had a lot of really good players on that team last year, but they have a lot of really good players on this team this year.
Right.
You know, one of the keys is you want to hang on to the guys that you can, like a Falslev, who's been here from the get-go. But you have to know how to use the portal, right?
Absolutely. That's completely different dynamic for the game.
Martinez, the turnaround up and in.
See, and that's what we were talking about. He puts the 2 free throws in. Now he's hitting a fadeaway jumper from the free throw line. That's what you don't want to see him make that shot if you're the Cowboys.
And that's 10 for Martinez, so now just 2 away from his 1,000th point. Lead back to the Aggies. Obi fouled. Yeah, and I think Akano knows it. Not arguing that one.
Yeah.
Obi's tough, though. Man, he just handles the ball so well, does a lot of good things.
Yeah, and he can hurt you from so many places on the court, so you have to respect everything that he's doing with all his jukes and his hesitations. You kind of have to get up and respect him.
And a fouled again. This time Falslev commits the foul. So Obi Ogbim is in 2 quick possessions right here, has forced the Aggies into a couple of quick fouls. Wyoming actually still has more fouls than the Aggies do in the half. They've got 4, Aggies have 3. Into the post it goes, turning, and Ibube.
So that breakdown happened early because Templin had to help longer, and then he got hit on his roll man because he's out of position because he had to hustle back. So I'm not quite sure that's Templin's fault on that one, although he's going to get subbed out for it.
Scotty Ibube, 6'10", 275-pound junior. He is a load. And you're right that Templin did what he could, but now he's on the bench.
Sometimes coaches only see the last part of the play.
And one thing that Ibube and Templin have in common, they're not good free throw shooters, both at 45% on the season coming in, but the lane violation is going to give him another one.
Yeah, and I think this game's going to come down to little mistakes, little turnovers, not staying as mentally sharp and focused as you need to be.
Misses again. This time the Aggies secure it, and here we go. Tie ball game. We got a good one. Mountain West Conference opener for both teams on an early December date. Martinez throws the lob to Getaretsi. Lands right back to Albury. And that three-pointer will not roll in for Akano. But look who's there for the rebound. And now Martinez is going to be going to the free throw line. And this will be an opportunity for him, if he hits both, to hit his 1,000th point.
And the one thing that's impressive about Ian is the fact that he is a shooter, but he is finding a way to get himself involved when the shots are not falling. So he's been able to get himself to the free throw line to put up 4 points, hit that fadeaway jumper, got a shot to go. He's getting offensive rebounds. So he's staying involved in the game, even though his percentages aren't what I'm sure, like him to be.
Got the first. He now has 999 career points in college basketball. Think this place is going to go quiet right now? And there it is. I'm not sure the fans even know.
No, I don't think so. That's a fun milestone.
Because he needed 12 to hit that, and he's got 12 now. Corner three is up, and that misses.
See, and that's one of the things that you'd like out of a press is to be able to push it so you're forcing the team to take early threes in the shot clock. Because if they're missing them, it just helps you to turn things around and get going, which the Aggies like to do.
Free throws coming again, and Wyoming already with 6 fouls. So Dayton Albury transfer from Queens University, shooting 2. Oh boy, that hit about every part of the rim it could. That's
yeah, and he's been a great pickup for the Aggies. I mean, he is explosive as explosive can be. It seems like his elevator doesn't have a top floor, and he's a lot of fun to watch. When I watch him, I can see he has so much potential to go up, and I think he just is a smart distributor, and the Aggies are winning, so he's willing to play his role. But he definitely has a lot of talent.
6'2", 190-pound senior out of Bel Air, Kansas. And a rare double miss. He's about a 65% free throw shooter, but those won't go. So the lead remains 2 for the Aggies.
What do you think Bel Air, Kansas is like?
I can't say I've ever been there. I'm guessing it's probably quiet.
Yeah. A lot of high-end restaurants.
Yeah. Good steak.
Yeah.
Obi Ogbin fouled on the shot. Dayton Albury commits the foul, so Obi is going to go to the free throw line, an 80% free throw shooter coming.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see this.
What do you think?
I don't know if I would have called that one, but I get the benefit of review, you know.
Well, that's a good point. You can review it in the NBA.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. Subs coming in. We haven't seen Jordy Barnes and Tucker Anderson for a bit, but they are back in, and Albury and Akano will go to the bench.
Yeah, and that's what makes this Aggie team so dynamic, is how many looks they can give other teams and not really have much drop-off.
So a 1-for-2 trip, 40-39, 1-point Aggie lead. Mason Falslev gets to the rack and delivers.
And that's a play they've run for him 4 or 5 times. And
Tonight, yeah.
They did, and Cowboys don't have an answer for it yet, but his ability to turn the corner and get to that right hand, he finishes that quite often.
Yeah, early on in the game, remember he missed the first one, but now he's hit 3 or 4 in a row of those plays. That Aggie pressure defense, they create the turnover, and Falslev gives off to Gatoretzy, who can't finish. Oh, there is a foul, though. So Mike Littlewood makes the call, and we'll keep it here. 7 fouls now on Wyoming. Oh, looks like a push in the back by Koyanitz, and literally knocked Falslev to the ground, and he immediately turned around and like, where's the call? And the official says, well, I just made it.
Well, and I think for the Cowboys, the Aggies being in the bonus this early in the half is not a good sign so the Aggies can keep putting points on the board.
So a 1-on-1 for Mason Falslev. Big free throws. The MVP of the NIT tip-off tournament they played in last week, in which they beat St. Bonaventure and North Texas. In that North Texas game, he had a career-high 28 points. And did you see that? He knew where that was going. He knew he was going to miss that. Martinez hits a 3. He went and got it before it even got to that. He was at the spot before the ball was in.
That's when you say a player has a nose for the ball.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That for basketball fans, those are the type of plays. And then to turn around and hit a 3, that changes the game.
Phenomenal. 7-point lead, the largest of the night for the Aggies. And what a play by Falslev and Martinez. Obi trying to get something going. Nesbitt's 3 quiets the crowd. Big shot. Wyoming needed that bad.
And I love that the Cowboys come out. They don't back down. They come out with the answer. They're willing to take shots and just keep playing and grinding this out.
Oh, blocking foul right there as Martinez comes around the corner, and he is met by Obi Ogbin. So the Aggies open up a little bit of a lead, but Cowboys are not going away. Good basketball game here. Aggies, Cowboys on KMYU locally and the Mountain West Network. Back here in Logan, and Gary, the shooting percentages, we've been harping on this throughout the game, still favor Wyoming heavily. And yet, Utah State has the lead. So the little things that are creating this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think if the shot attempts for one, I mean, the Cowboys have 33 shot attempts, whereas Utah State's got 41 shot attempts. So, they have lower percentages. They're getting more shots up. The Aggies are being dominant on the offensive glass and on the glass, and well, not so much the glass in total, but the dominant on the offensive glass. So those are two things that I would look at as to why they might be up.
Wyoming also has 9 turnovers in this game. Aggies only have 3. And back to the line goes Martinez. I was watching the Utah Jazz last night against Oklahoma City. Wow, that is a good team, Oklahoma City. Jazz had 29 turnovers.
It's hard to win.
You can sum up a game right there.
Right. It's hard to.
29.
Yeah, you can't win playing like that.
Yeah. Well, they're developing young kids, hoping for a higher draft pick. But
absolutely. But they know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Danny Ainge has been there, done that.
Absolutely.
So with the free throws,
so I was at
42.
I was at Portsmouth with Danny Ainge's son, Austin Ainge.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Austin was at BYU. He became an agent.
Turnover. Falslev's got it. And Mason loses that one out of bounds. They're going to keep it here. So he became an agent?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's up to now, but I think he was working with an agency when I was there. So he was a great guy. Austin was real cool.
That Ainge family knows a little something about basketball.
True.
Mason might have gotten cut. Well, no, I guess they're just – because normally you'd have to put a Band-Aid on that. But
yeah, they've developed a spray that seals it off for you.
And he's ready to go. Jordy Barnes in the game along with Tucker Anderson. And a nice pass from Jordy to Falslev, and he's up and again. He is making a living on that shot, Gary.
He likes that right hand just off the glass. And Coach Calhoun knows it, so he drives up plays to get him to there.
8-point lead for Utah State, 7-0, trying to get to 8-0. Typical hard-fought Mountain West Conference battle between the Aggies and the Cowboys as Falslev knocks that ball out of bounds. And now he's going to go back. I think he's having a little trouble with this cut on his hand. And they're going to ask Coach Calhoun. I think they're just asking him to make a substitution, but Coach says it's all right. We got a good crew here.
Yeah,
our trainers are great.
Right, we can get him in and out real quick.
And they did. Here he comes. That's one thing, this, that no one wants to come out of the game.
No way.
Certainly not over a cut on your hand.
Yeah. I mean, you practice as hard as you practice to get the 25 minutes a game you get.
Right. Exactly. That's the payoff.
Yeah. Yeah. And
did you think about it? You practice a lot more minutes than you, especially in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not in the NBA.
Yeah, the NBA is a little bit different, but you're a practice player in university.
Approaching 10 minutes to play and an 8-point lead for the Aggies. It's been a strong second half. As that ball, I think they thought was tipped by Obi Ogbim. But no, Jordy trying to hit Falslev. I saw Falslev look right over and say, hey, that was on me. He might have backed up right as Jordy made the pass. So a rare turnover, only the 4th for the Aggies. I just can't. I'm so impressed with this defense. I'm going to call it a chameleon defense because you never know what they're going to come out with.
Yeah. And
Falslev can't believe it. He got the foul there.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, with aggressive defenses, you're going to get a foul or two like this, and sometimes they're going to go your way. But anytime you start reaching as a defensive player, it gives the ref the opportunity to make the call.
And you're right, that's what he just did.
Right.
Jordan Nesbitt, 6'6", 210-pound senior, and takes the ball right to the rack. It won't go, but he is fouled. You saw Henry mop it up, but that won't count. So Nesbitt should have free throws coming.
And Gateretzi's late on the help here. He should have been down to cut off the baseline because Martinez is going to force him that direction. Gateretzi's got to rotate over quickly to cut off the baseline.
So 2 for Nesbitt. 7th foul, or excuse me, the 8th foul now for Wyoming. Both teams in the bonus, of course. Look at that Aggie background there. That's what you're looking at when you shoot free throws here on Stu Morrill Court.
It is a fun place to play.
Yeah, this is just, it's just a blast calling games here. I have people ask me all the time, because we've called games at Weber State and Utah and all over the state, but the arrangement we have with the Aggies for the past couple of years has just been so much fun because the atmosphere is just electric.
Absolutely.
Especially when you get into these league games. Jordy Barnes, and Barnes puts on a move. That's a freshman, folks.
That's like old man, you're 40 years old, you're not jumping type of move.
Well, that means he learned it from his dad.
That's exactly right.
And then a foul on the floor. Yeah, his dad, Matt Barnes, played here at Utah State back in the, boy, I don't even remember those times, back in the 80s. Never met a shot he didn't like, and he'll tell you that. Great guy, though, head coach at Olympus High School, has won a couple state championships there, including last year with his son Jordy leading the team. They're still looking at Falsleff's hand. They can't get that under control, I think. But he's not leaving.
No.
Yeah, they said it's okay. This is 2024. We got plenty of ways to mend up a little cut.
Right.
And Mason Falsleff, talk about a tough kid. I mean, he played football and basketball at Skyview High School just nearby, just a few miles north of us here, and won state championships in both.
That's a rarity.
Yep. And he was a great football player. I always thought, man, this kid would be a heck of just a big wide receiver, but I think he chose pretty wisely.
Yeah, it's working out pretty good for him.
It is, isn't it? Templin gets his own miss and puts it back up and in. Carson Templin, and the lead is back to 8.
He is such a force down there on the block. I mean, he's a little undersized, but his ability to come up with things is just a show of his determination and his heart. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he never plays less than 110%, that's for sure. Nesbitt drive shot, that's a tough shot. And Falsleff's got it. Again, that Aggie defense showing so many different looks. Barnes getting some quality looks here. Oh, they're going to say Templin, offensive foul. Mike Littlewood on the call, did not like that pick. Templin's going to ask him now, what exactly did I do?
You got to be careful when you're moving. Yeah, I think Carson just came in a little hot on that screen and just wasn't quite set before he made contact.
Obi Ogden kicks out 3. Got it. Dante Allen, a sorely needed three-pointer for Wyoming, trimming the deficit for the Cowboys to 5.
Yeah, and it looks like he got his head knocked into the floor as well. He's coming off on that handoff, and they're looking to strip him. That's the second turnover he's had on that handoff. He needs to come off a little bit more aware of the defenders around him.
Yeah, Martinez giving him some words of encouragement as well. Probably telling him the same thing.
Yeah.
As Kobe Newton goes to the free throw line. This is the best free throw shooter by percentage in the game tonight for either team. He is a 91% free throw shooter. Really good. Kobe Newton out of Portland, Oregon. Played at Fullerton before transferring to Wyoming. And he hits them both. And now it's a 2-point game. The Aggies were up by 8 just a couple of minutes ago. Allen gets him up in the air, and that was just enough to harass the shot. Ibube did his job.
Well, that's the thing is when you get down on the block, you can't go up to avoid contact. If you got a player off his feet, that's when you create the contact and draw the foul.
And now an opportunity for Wyoming to tie or take the lead. And Ogden's going to do the work, and he does it. We are tied up at 56, inside 6 to play.
Well, that's the thing. When you got Mason with guard and Obi Abin on the defensive end, then you got to expect him to produce on the offensive end. That's a tall load.
Bodies flying everywhere, and Falslev's got it and can't get the little shorty to go, but it's going to be free throws coming for Carson Templin.
Yeah, and he's a guy, I mean, he's coming up with the plays you need him to come up with, grabbing those offensive rebounds and being able to put it back, draw fouls, and create more opportunities for your team.
So a tie ball game, 2 free throws coming for the sophomore, Carson Templin. Oh, how about that? Any way you can get it
Absolutely.
to go, right? Two for 2 on that trip. Templin's actually been pretty good from the free throw line tonight. He's 5 for 6.
Yeah.
And he's normally a less than 50% free throw shooter.
Well, when you find a way, you, just you come up with the plays that you need to come up with.
Now the pressure on Obi to get the ball away from him, but he manages to get it back, and three-pointer on the way, and Newton delivers again. Kobe Newton has given the Cowboys the lead. Allen Martinez looked at that three. He's going to drive instead, and he's fouled. And now Utah State's best free throw shooter goes to the line. By the way, I misspoke. Ian is a 92% free throw shooter. Kobe Newton is just a shade under 92%. So I'm going to say Ian Martinez is the best free throw shooter in the game.
I would love to have shot 90%. Either way.
What was your career free throw shooting percentage?
Oh, career? Probably 76%.
Okay, that's okay. That's serviceable.
Respectable, yeah.
Yeah, that's very much respectable. Martinez ties the game. Oh, good finish coming under 5 to play. Mountain West Conference opener for these two teams. And Ian gets them both.
The one thing that Wyoming has done in this game is they've done a great job of keeping the crowd out of it.
Yeah, you're right. Every time something big would happen, you see something that the Cowboys do, and it quiets them right down. So the Aggie faithful and the Aggies thought the ball was going to them, and they're not liking this one bit. It'll be Wyoming's ball, trailing by 1. Aggies trying to get to 8-0 on the season. Ooh, nearly stolen right in front of us by Falslev.
And the Aggies have kind of been just a hair off on a lot of those passing lanes. We've talked before earlier in the season, they get a lot of deflections, a lot of balls, and they've been just a hair behind on those passing lanes throughout this game.
Shot clock down to 6. Obi's going to fire from 3. He doesn't get it. Here comes Falslev. That's a big miss for Wyoming.
Yeah, and I think in the stretch of the game, you want to continually put pressure on the basket. When you're settling for three-point looks at the end of the shot clock, that's last-second stuff you want to execute down the stretch here.
Yeah, not something they've been doing throughout the night, but it cost them on that possession. Martinez, the drive, up and in for Ian Martinez.
And see, when he started the half with those free throws, started to get in his rhythm. Now he's putting 20 points on the board yet again and being able to finish down the stretch.
Martinez now with 23. And again, Obi hangs on to the ball. Shot clock down inside 10.
That was a great defensive rotation by the Aggies to get out on Newton.
And Newton's shot does not go as Martinez gets in the way. Wyoming wants a goaltending, not going to get it. Sundance Wicks, head coach, is not happy about this. Timeout, Aggies, a 3-point lead, 3:37 to play. Do not go away. We go to Goodwin, Mountain West opener here on KNYU locally and the Mountain West Network. We're back here in Logan. Big night for Ian Martinez, 23 points, and he's made all 8 of his free throws.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy you definitely don't want to put on the free throw line for a number of reasons, just because he makes them, but tonight he's been able to find his rhythm through the free throw line and get him to that 23 mark.
Sometimes, well, I shouldn't say sometimes, a lot of times, coaches do not like to see free throw disparities, and Sundance Wicks is going to see it tonight.
Right.
Unless it gets made up, because the Aggies have shot 21 free throws, Gary, and Wyoming's only shot 9.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about that last year because of how much pressure Great would put on the defense and get to the fouls with fouls drawn and so forth. But tonight, that's been, I think, the difference maker for the Aggies, their ability to get to the free throw line and convert.
Yeah, no, those 21 free throws, they've made 17. So they've made 10 more points than the Cowboys have just at the free throw line.
Yeah.
All right, 3.5 to play. 3-point Aggie lead. They have the ball. Drake Allen back in the game. Martinez. Oh, lands right in the hands of Mason Falslev, who delivers.
He's the guy that his motor starts when the shot goes up.
No kidding.
That's what they've seen is he's so difficult to defend because he does not stop.
6 rebounds for Falslev, and right back the other way comes Obi. He's so good.
Reminds me a lot of J.C. Carroll. J.C. Carroll, one thing that a lot of people, fantastic scorer, but a phenomenal rebounder. Coach would send him to the offensive glass as well. He had a nose for the ball and a motor.
Martinez turns, shorts that one. And another foul, sending Templin to the line.
And this is the problem for the Cowboys because I think the foul was on Nesbitt. That's his 4th. And you got to decide whether you're going to leave him in the game or take him out if he's going to get his 5th foul.
Well, with 2:45 to play, that's a tough one. But he has been good. 13 points for the Cowboys. They'll leave him in the game. And I got to tell you, hats off to Carson Templin. Comes in here a 45% free throw shooter, and he has really stepped up tonight. Now, he's now 6 of 7 at the line.
And I think a lot of times, too, is a young player, you build up these moments so much in your mind that you just need experience to help you get over the hurdles that you've built up. And I think kind of for Carson, maybe that's what's going on. He's getting to the line more, getting more comfortable there, and it's showing.
7 of 8 in this game.
I'm going to have to ask him how he was in high school, whether this is just a fluke or not.
Well, and he's got 11 points, and 7 of those are from the line. You would never have thought that. Long 3 doesn't go, and one-handed rebound for Martinez. They're going to say he landed out of bounds. He wants to say he was pushed down, but the officials say no.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I saw that on the rebound. He just came up and came down, but yeah, I didn't see him get pushed.
If anything, he kind of gave himself a little room with the push there. But the Aggie fans are tolerant of that. They'll let it go. Not.
Well, and I think Wyoming, too, they're trying to live and die by the 3 here. And what really kept them in the game early on is just what they're doing now. They're putting pressure on the rim.
And there's another turnover.
Yeah. I'm surprised the refs let that go as long as they let it go.
Oh, Falslev is hot. They had to pull him off of that. He is hot. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a player standing over another player reaching down, that probably is a foul call. The refs let that one get out of sorts. I think that's something they should take a look at.
Take a look here.
So you just that is when you lean over a player to reach for the ball, that's a clear call.
Well, then he's got him right there in a full Nelson.
Yeah, the refs let that one go. That was a mistake there.
Yeah. That could have gotten even worse than it did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, cooler heads prevailed, and a couple of teammates of Mason's pulled him off. He came out of that furious. All right, approaching 2 to play. 5-minute Aggie lead. Drake Allen, number 8, he's in the game for the Aggies. Help finish this off.
Things that Aggies can do is just keep their composure. And one thing about Martinez is he's as composed a player as you possibly can get. And that was a great pass. Carson just needs to finish on that delivery.
Yeah, Jordan Nesbitt with a big block on Templin. And then they come right back, go to the post again, and Allen trying to defend the much bigger Ebube falls down. And we got a foul here, so free throws coming. Minute 40 to play. Aggies clinging to a 5-point lead, trying to get to 8-0, which is something they've only done 4 times in history.
Well, and that's what
of this program.
When Ebube gets the ball on the block, it's so hard when you have those smaller guys guarding you because they're so much quicker. You're hard to get your rhythm and feel your feet. So I think that easily could have gone 1 or 2 ways there.
Yeah, he comes in at 6'10", 275 pounds, Southern Illinois transfer. Scotty Ebube.
Well, and he may be a player the Aggies want at the line as well.
Yeah, he's 45% free throw shooter, but then again, so is Carson
Right.
Templin, and
Right.
he's made a living there tonight.
Right.
So we'll see how that shakes out. Both teams, of course, with over the limit of 10 fouls, so everything is 2 free throws from here on out. And it's actually a ball out of bounds in this case, so we just had the turnover. Turnover is still just plaguing the Cowies. They'll be talking about that. 12 for them.
Right.
Although the Aggies kind of caught up a little bit. They have 7 at this point. Dante Allen feeds Ebube. Double team. Here we go. Corner 3 is up and in. Big shot for Kobe Newton. And it's a 2-point Aggie lead, minute and a half to go.
And he's the guy that you don't want shooting. He's come alive in the second half. He's feeling it. He's found his range. And that's something that Aggies are going to have special attention to.
Fall slip. He loves that drive. And 1.
And that's what teams are going to try to do is keep him off that right hand. But if you can't do it, clearly he's going to attack. And he loves to get here and is able to finish.
So Falslev, 73% free throw shooter, and it's just having a heck of a night. 15 points.
And those 15 points were hard fought.
Oh, they were.
They did not come easy.
Oh, rare miss from Mason. So the lead will remain 4. You see the time there. We're approaching a minute to play. Mountain West Conference early opener. And Obi. You know, that looked like, I'm not sure if Martinez got a hand on that.
Yeah, I think he did.
Because if he had, it would have been out of bounds. It would have been Wyoming's ball.
I think it bounced off a Wyoming player because he tipped it.
He thought it. Yep, you are correct. So another big defensive stand, under a minute to go. 4-point Aggie lead.
This is where I get it in the hands of Ian Martinez. The best foul shooter. He can create a shot. He can do it all for you down the stretch.
Allen, lob to Falslev, and he delivers.
That's a great play. That's the second time they've scored on that play with 2 different players. That false back screen to a backdoor cut. You come off that screen and just dump it inside there. That's the second time the Aggies scored off that.
take another look.
Can't see him on the backside, but Mason just comes over wide open. Great ability to finish.
Nice little pick set there by Templin as well.
That's a reminiscent of an old play Coach Morrow used to called dribble. They wrote an article.
Name.
That was a great name. They wrote an article about it, and I can't remember where it was, called The Greatest Play Ever Made.
What?
Yeah, and Golden State used to run it. It was amazing. I made a living off it. He just gave me layups each game. I owe my career to that guy and that play.
Well, and that play has withstood the test of
It
time,
has.
because here we are in 2024 Mountain West opener, and they're still running.
Right.
These fans are fired up. Look at this guy. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Can't imagine anyone other than Obi's going to be touching this ball until they get into their offense.
Yeah. Just a lot of switching for the Aggies here.
Boy, they're running a lot of time off the clock here, Gary. They took a ton, and Newton has to fire an off-balance three, and that doesn't go. And look who came up with the rebound. We haven't called Drake Allen's name in a while, but he just came up with a huge rebound, and he's going to be shooting free throws.
Yeah, and that's a lot of these Aggies. They have great motors. The shot goes up. They're rushing the boards. They're coming up. They're strong with the ball, coming up to put themselves at the free throw line, and some very crucial free throws.
Again, a lot of time taken off the clock there. Now we're down to 14 seconds, and Allen with an opportunity to stretch this lead that's already 6.
Yeah, and I think they're going to review that to see how much time, like you pointed out, they've wasted a lot of time trying to get that shot off.
A very rare miss for Drake Allen, an 80% free throw shooter. This would be a big one here, making it a 3-possession game. And almost tipped in, but now he misses 2. That just doesn't happen. All right, 10 seconds left. Newton 3 goes. And with 6.9 on the clock, it is suddenly a 3-point game, and those missed free throws loom large now.
Yes, it's always the little plays down the stretch. Knock a free throw or 2 in, gives you a little breathing room. Now the Aggies are feeling the pressure a little tight with 6 seconds left.
Well, you're the coach, Gary. What are you drawing? And I guess you just want to get it into the hands of free throw shooters.
Yeah. So I put in a couple free throw shooters. I try to get in the hands of Ian Martinez, and then they got a foul right quick. So they're going to go for a steal.
6.9. They have no choice. They got to. Yeah, you're right.
They'll go
for the steal, but if you don't get that, you're done. You got to get a foul. Well, this has been a lot of fun here tonight. Mountain West Conference opener. They are so much fun in this building, and this Aggie crowd.
Yeah. Well,
they're right behind us too.
Yeah, you can hear them, I'm sure. They, like I said, talked about earlier, Wyoming's done a good job, because this place in a conference game can get much louder than it has tonight. And so
credit the Cowboys for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's a 3-point game shows you that, and we talked about this earlier, Wyoming was not going to go away. Sundance Wicks was brought in to coach this team for a reason and change the culture and get them winning, and he's got them at 5-2 so far this season.
Yeah, and then they look like they're really playing as a team. They're cohesive. They're encouraging to each other. They're talking out there. This is not a fun place to come in and play, and they've stayed together as a team. That's a good sign this early in the year that they're playing that well together.
Both these teams will move back into some non-league games. Wyoming will take on South Dakota on December 10th. They go to BYU on the 14th, and this coming Saturday we'll be right back here in Logan again, the second of 4 in a row that we have, as Utah Tech will come up and take on the Aggies. Right now they're just trying to get to 8-0, which has only happened 4 times in Utah State history.
And it looks like they put 0.2 of a second back on the clock,
so
too.
7.1, you're right. So look for the steal first if you're Wyoming. Ball slip to inbound. They're looking for Allen, and Martinez has it. Oh, Martinez gets away. And the clock all the way down to 3 seconds. They stole it. And the time is going to expire as the shot goes up, and he gave it a look. Oh, Gary. Holy smokes, they were just that close, and Newton has been so good. A little bit of a mistake at the end there by Martinez that gave Wyoming a chance, but the Aggies are going to escape, and they are now. Take a look at the end, though, here, Gary.
Yeah, he tried to back it out to keep it away, but Nesbitt just comes in, makes a heads-up play, and like I said, that's how it was a three-quarter court shot that hit it to put it into overtime when we played Wyoming. Yeah, so when I saw that shot go up, I'm like, oh,
you
this
saw
is
the same thing.
Oh, it was something it was reminiscent of what I experienced.
Well, this is one of those situations where if you're Coach Calhoun, you are loving this 8-0 start. But there's probably a lot of things you're still going to be working on at practice over the next couple of days.
Absolutely, and I think a game like this is helpful because as you start to go on a run as a team, you start to get maybe a little overconfident, and you start to look past things. This is a great game for them to really look and say, hey, we got a lot of room, a lot of ways to improve as this season goes on.
Well, league play, when it arrives, is not going to get any easier. There's a lot of really good teams in this league, but the Aggies get one tonight, and it is a big one. They are 8-0 on the season with a 70-67 win. We're going to be right back here again on Saturday night as the Aggies will take on a little bit of an in-state rivalry. Utah Tech comes up. For now, thanks to our entire broadcast crew, everyone doing a great job. Gary, thank you so much as well. We'll see you all Saturday night right here on KMYU locally and the Mountain West Network. Good night, everyone.